Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be looking at the newest subline of, the newest subline from Walmart, that being the Starseekers. And quite the interesting bunch this is. This is pretty much everyone besides the leader class, because for some reason Walmart hates like putting in the leader classes nowadays, probably because they're not selling well. But the only thing missing from this is a retooled Thundertron with a new head and hand, who includes a deluxe class figure and a Micromaster. So, I mean, if you have the regular Legacy one, then I personally say you're probably not missing much. But if you want what is essentially a repaint, who is colored bright, who is better colored, as a arguably better head sculpt in my opinion, and comes with a like a Micromaster that can fit into this port here, then yeah. Also, I have a separate review for this guy up on my channel. I'll link that in the description, along with every single one of these guys' original molds, like videos, down in the comments as well. Also, I'll have a playlist to all my Transformers reviews down there as well. So, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all those fun doodads, and let's continue. So, as you can see, we got Faract, we got Filch, we got Cannonball, Road Pig, and Lockdown as our deluxe. Well, as our deluxe offerings and as our Voyager. So, these are obviously all remolds, and some of them are slight retools of their original molds. So, like Faract being Cyclonus, Cannonball surprisingly being the Crankcase Skids mold, Filch being the Air Razor mold, Road Pig and Lockdown both being Junkions respectively, this being Crash Bar and this being Axle Grease, who in turn is also a remold of Scraphook. So yeah, we're going to get comparisons to their original molds just out of the way first, and we'll start off with Cannonball, who has had the most remolding out of this entire wave here. So let's get everyone else out of the way. So start off with, here we have Cannonball. Here we have the original mold, this being Burnout. Well, technically the original mold is Skids, but I'm using Burnout as a comparison. And here we have Crankcase. So if we're doing this in order. So we go from Skids to Crankcase, and Crankcase to Cannonball, who's going to be then repainted into Red Alert from Cybertron, or at least his first form. So there's a lot of rework done to this mold. You see a lot more of the, no, actually. No, wait, I'm right. You see more of the Crankcase out of this mold than you do with the Burnout. So, it is honestly impressive that this mold has been remolded to the point where, honestly, it could be rivaling the Skids mold. Not the Skids, the Sideswipe mold. It could be. I don't know if it is. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I don't know how many Sideswipes there have been, but, yeah. So, yeah. So, let's get these out of the way. So, and this is pretty much a new version of a BotCon-only character with, references to his original, BotCon paint scheme, because originally these were just Flan skeletons. It's now the Vok, which are from Beast Wars. So, and also I don't mind it. It fits on this, version. So, yeah, nice little pirate symbol painted here on what is the Cyberplanet keyport. And also this is painted to resemble his head, which in the original toy it would just be in the center here. So yeah, and you can take the key out, have it be its own separate thing, but I just tend to leave it in, because where else am I going to put it? So yeah, so you can roll pretty well, with the back wheels. Sometimes the front wheels on my copy get a bit stuck, but I don't know, I don't really notice it. So yeah, also a nice little Starseeker / Star Raiders, faction symbol on the front there. So yeah, honestly pretty compact vehicle mode, and then again you can kind of see the face through there. So yeah, So, next vehicle, let's go to Road Pig, who is just simple. So he is a G2 laser cycle, if I'm correct, and is repainted from axle grease, as you can see the G2 Decepticon logo there, along with his mini faction logo on the front. So it's just a straight up repaint, new head. That's really it with this guy. And honestly, I do kind of like this paint scheme over the Junkion version, where, well, this is obviously more very Junkion-esque with the motorcycle and everything. Junkions have a lot of motorcycles already, and honestly, I like the more unique lookings of this guy over this. Then it's just black and red and gold is a good color scheme regardless. But yeah, so no other remolding besides that. So let's move on to just look at Filch. So Filch being a character from Robots in the Skies, who we only saw the bird mode. We saw a shadow of her robot mode, but that was it. And honestly, I feel like a crow for the pirate team, for the crow's nest. That's cute. That's cute in my opinion. So yeah, so same articulation as Air Razor in this mode. So rotation at the head can look down, mouth can open, and honestly, that is a well painted head. They even got the pupil. That's cool. So yeah, mechanical looking back and mechanical wings compared to the Air Razor mold. Also, so new head, new shoulder pieces, and new wings, and new back plate. That's pretty much the extensive of the remolds that they've done. And here's the faction logo on here. And speaking of Air Razor, I should say. So yeah, multiple hinges here in the wings, rotation here, and a hinge there as well. But yeah, this is also in a 5mm port, so that will make sense once you get to robot mode. So let's compare her to her progenitor, I guess is the best way to describe it. That being Air Razor. So, as you can see, obviously the all-organic design look to this, compared to the more robotic, crow aesthetic here. So yeah. So, pretty much, as I said, the only difference is shoulders, head, and robot mode head, and the wings and legs. That's pretty much it in terms of differences. So yeah. So let's move on to our final deluxe of the Star Raiders, or at least the final single release deluxe. Here is Lockdown, and oh boy, he was a contentious figure the moment he got revealed. People were thinking that when they saw Lockdown in the listings, they're like, oh, it's going to be animated Lockdown. And not realizing that, compared to previous listings of animated characters, they had animated in the, trademark. This was just Lockdown. And this is just what Lockdown is. We kind of knew this was going to be happening the moment we saw Axle Grease with the, engine gun, and her still having the hook accessory from Scraphook. So, we kind of knew it was going to happen. So, yeah. So, this is more of a homage to, yes, to his animated version, because that's where the character came from, but this is more of a homage to his Revenge of the Fallen toy, kind of, sort of. You'll see that more when you get to robot mode and you get a look at the head. But, yeah. So, here he is compared to Scraphook. So, a lot of changes compared to the two, considering Axle Grease was originally a remold from this guy. So, new cabin, new front bumper, the sides are the same. New accessories back here for the, completing the back of the vehicle mode. To my knowledge, the arms are possibly the same. So yeah, the arms back here are the same pieces. So yeah. Just that. Changes are kind kind of obvious. More symmetrical, surprisingly. I think pretty sure that was the reason why was because, well, there's going to be a character who isn't traditionally a Junkion, but makes sense for the gimmick considering in animated he was a gun for hire that could be, disassemble himself and just equip himself with whatever prizes he fancied from his bounties. So yeah, let's move on to the only Voyager of the wave, that being Farak. And he is a pretty, well, not extensive remold from Cyclonus, but there are many spots in here that help change the silhouette from Cyclonus. So the new parts are the wings over here on each side, the new shoulders, there's a new tip of the nose cone, and a new chest and head for when we get into robot mode. And also, he gets these two new gun accessories that go onto the ends of the wings, making him, well, a bit different from his mold mate, essentially. And honestly, Hasbro, I'm begging you, please either re-release this guy or do something to top him. I hope you do that, because for one, suffers the same problems as this mold where these spots won't squeeze in properly. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Thankfully, no yellowing yet, but then again, this figure, spots where this is yellowed are in different plastic, so hopefully it doesn't yellow. So yeah, he is a bit shorter than, well, Cyclonus here because, well, the nose cone. So yeah. Still has the same functionality with the landing gears being able to be folded up and everything. So yeah, that's really it. And same blast effect ports in here and such. So, yeah. So let's get this out of the way. And let's work our way backwards from here. So we'll start with this guy, and then we'll end with Cannonball. So, let's get started. Okay, start off with folding these wingtips. Unpeg the arms from here. Unpeg the arm. We'll move the arms up, like so. And then make sure you move the camera up so people can see. Also make sure you fold in the landing gears. Untab the legs from the back canopy here. Rotate it up. Get it out of the way. Then you can extend the legs the rest of the way. Open up these panels here. Also split the legs apart in the process. Fold them out, fold the feet down, fold this up, club, put that in, fold that down, just like so. You can bring this part back. Also, I'm just going to take these off because they have a tendency to fall off. And then move the chest forward, open this entire panel up here. And then fold all this back, collapse it in, rotate it around, tab this into place, tab this and this into place. Then we can bring the arms down, untab the elbow from the wings, and then fold them back. Rotate forward, untab from here, and then rotate it back, and then flip this open. Fold the hands all out, just like so, and do the same thing on the other side. And there we have Farak in his robot mode, and it is very much Cyclonus-y, considering I think the original version of this guy was a repaint of Classics Cyclonus? I don't remember. I just know it was a repaint of that guy. And because of the extra remolding, they added, something to, well, make him stand a little bit different than Cyclonus. Though I do wish, instead of the gun again, I wish they kind of gave him a sword because, I don't know, he's a pirate. I feel like he should have a sword. I know they're space pirates, but still. So yeah. So, speaking of Cyclonus, here he is compared to his originator. So, as you can see, not a lot of remolding, at least not ones that are, well, it's obviously visual, comparative, but it does help change a bit of the look, make him look a little bit more dynamic than this guy. But yeah, so you see, different chest, giving him sort of that pirate shirt sort of look, like where they have like one piece of clothing, like a shirt underneath and like a jacket on top, with like the collar kind of in there. Also, as you can see, the head, it is a different face with a, I think, a Marvel UK Comics look. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I think this is where this guy's, a majority of this guy's character is. I could be very wrong. I never read any of that. So yeah. So as you can see, very toyetic looking face compared to the G1 cartoon. So yeah, and also no light piping, because don't get me wrong, light piping is good, but like, he looks dead. And he looks kind of fine. Ish. But yeah. So, let's get this. Well, let's do articulation real quick. So, hinge at the neck and a ball joint at the head. So, you get a full side-to-side rotation. Arms can go out out that far. Full rotation. Bicep swivel. Elbows can go to 90. There is a wrist rotation. And also, you can rotate this all around. And because this is a 5mm port, even though it is a little bit too tight, you can take Scrap Hook's hook, or if you want to take lockdowns, then you can just plug it in there, giving him, you know, a pirate look. But yeah, it is pretty tight, so do be wary if you do that. So, rotate that back out. There is a waist rotation. Legs can go forward and can go back that far. Go out that far. Rotation here at the knee. Double jointed at the knee, but you're going to get like a little bit more than 90. Or if you do that, just 90. So yeah, and also, if you take this out of his hands, you can give him the, like, wing guns. As you know, guns. They are blast effect compatible. So, if you wanted to, you know, use those for any things, and just store this on his back. So yeah. So let's move on to lockdown. So here we go. Let me move the camera back down a bit. So to start off with, let's just remove the engine block. Remove the sides here. Remove the hook, and then remove the back section here, which is pegged into the arms right here. Then we can just split them apart and set all this stuff off to the side. So, continue. Just untab there. Untab the arms from each other, and then the arms from the shoulders. Rotate them forward. Rotate the fists forward. Just like that. And then bring out the chest hinge there. Do the same thing on the opposite side. And now we can work on the legs after we untab them from the sides here. Honestly, I don't know why, but on this mold, I can't bring the feet forward unless I, disconnect it from the front. And considering this has the same Junkion gimmick, you can do the same vehicle mode combinations. You can take these and add them as sidecars to Road Pig, but I'm pretty sure I showed that off in my Junkion review, so I'm just not going to do it here. So, just leave those like that. Bring all of this up, rotate this around. Also just tap these in back here. Rotate the head forward, arms around. Make sure that these chests, those tab together like that. And then overlay these together like so. And there we have lockdown all done. So yeah, and as you can see here, he has a Decepticon logo on him, even though he's a mercenary. Like, why does he have a Decepticon symbol on him? Unless, you want to show it to the children. And, ooh, bad guy. So yeah, and now I'm going to show you my preferred loadout for this guy. So just put the hook in the golden, painted gun. and just rotate this. Ooh. I was able to do this in a way of making this look a lot more natural looking, so I just tend to plug it in like so, giving him his iconic hook hand. Just plug in the engine core here onto the side of the arm, these onto the sides here, and then this I tend to just plug in back here, because otherwise the gun would be pointing downwards like that, and that just looks weird. But hey, here we have Lockdown in his robot mode, and it is straight up just a repaint of axle grease. But considering this guy is molded in all black, but with the only spots of colors being the painted green and like gold and silver, it is honestly pretty impressive. I like it as its own standalone thing, and I'm kind of happy that they didn't put animated on this, because that would have made so many people mad. And I honestly do not care for the fights in this fandom. But anyway, it is honestly impressive that they, well, it's not that surprising, really, that they planned out for this mold once we saw axle grease, but I am happy that we did manage to get this guy, and we're going to get animated Lockdown as his own figure in the future, probably. So yeah. So he can do the same Junkion gimmick where you just rip him apart on all the limbs and such, like do all that, but I already showed that off, I'm pretty sure, in the Junkion review. So yeah, so also do note the QC on your copy may vary because of the 5mm gimmick and such. Like, notoriously, the arms on these guys, like the elbows, are very loose, and do be careful when fixing them. So yeah, and as you can see at the head here, it is very much the Revenge of the Fallen version of Lockdown, and not the, well, animated design that we all know and love. So yeah, it's honestly pretty clever to have, well, a Lockdown and reference another Lockdown. So yeah, so let's take a look at what the mold that he, well, spawned from, I guess is the best way to say it. So yeah, here is Scrap Hook. So yeah, not much visual change besides the chest, obviously, and the legs, but yeah. So, let's get on to articulation real quick. Head is just on a rotation, shoulders just on a rotation here. Well, you can rotate all the way around. You can hit himself in the head with his like shoulders, which are massive. Elbow can really go a little bit past 90, and that's it. There is a wrist rotation, waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far and can go back that far. Outwards that far. Thigh swivel technically. Knees can bend to 90, and feet can go forward that far, can go all the way back. There is a good amount of ankle pivot, and also a hinge here in the actual foot. So this guy's pretty well articulated. It's just that the upper body is just a tad bit awkward because of the, giant shoulder pads. But hey, well, it works. So yeah, let's move on to Filch. We'll do a final comparison of all these guys at the end. So yeah, here we have Filch. Stretch out the wings. Take the wing bits off. These will go someplace in the robot mode. And then we just do an air razor, where you just bring down the legs, rotate them around, rotate the feet around, copy on the other side. And then lift this up, rotate it around, clip it back, bring the hands out, unfold the fists, and then we bring this panel up, rotate the head around, and then use the double hinge here, and then accordioning it down, tapping the crow head into the chest. bring this panel back, and then tab in the wings. Then I say, tab in the wings, bring this forward, tab in the other wing, bring that forward. And there we have Filch in her robot mode, and let's just get her accessories plugged into her arms, because apparently on the original RID version of this gal, her, like, arms is where the wings were. And it's pretty unique for, at least from what I remember, of any, like, bird transformer, where what are essentially the arms of the bird become the arms of the robot mode. So yeah, so pretty unique in comparison to the original mold. Let's take a good look at her head. So she is lacking a nose. That is a bit weird, but it is a very like RID 2015 head sculpt. So I do like it. It fits the design. So yeah, let's get a mold comparison, comparing it to the original version of this mold. Airazor. It was also a bit top heavy because of the ball joints at the ankles. Come on. There we go. So yeah. So a lot has changed visually because of, taking the wings that were back here and putting them on the forearms. So, but as I said, not much in terms of molding has changed besides the obvious wings and head and other head and legs, which does help differentiate it a lot from the original mold, especially with the silhouette change. Sorry, I thought I heard something. So let's get on to articulation real quick. So articulation, head is on a ball joint, can do a full 360, can look up that far. There is a waist rotation. Arms can do a full 360 if you move them out of the way of the backpack. Can go out that far. Bicep rotation. Elbows can go a little bit over 90. Nothing at the wrists due to how it transforms. The wings here retain their hinge, and they can also rotate in the 5mm port. Legs can go forward about that far, can go back about that far, can go out all the way. Thigh rotation, knees can go way over 90, and then a ball joint at the ankle. So, pretty good articulation. Honestly, if you want, it was essentially to my knowledge, the only crow transformer that exists so far, then I say go for this. And honestly, it does help that the remolding makes this feel a lot different from Airazor. Well, it feels a lot like Airazor, but it does help it look a lot different from Airazor, giving the wings on the arms. You can make them as impromptu shields or blades or whichever like that. So yeah, let's move on to the other Junkion, like repaint of this set. Road Pig. Sorry. So yeah, Road Pig. So start off with, take off the pipes here on each side, take off the saddlebags, and then just set all this stuff off the side. Okay, then just extend this forward to make sure it clicks into place. Bring this around. There we have one leg all done. Untab this leg from the body, and then plug it back into the leg. Make sure that the handlebars go underneath like this to give it a flip. Rotate this around. Bring the head up and out, make sure it clicks into place. Then you can bring the arms forward, rotate the fists around, and then there we have Road Pig. So yeah, so this is our third laser cycle to my knowledge, with one of the Velocitron ones being there and a G2, excuse me, like laser cycle just being called, which is technically just a version of G2 Jazz. Correct me in the comments. But yeah. So let's get all these back in. So let's just do what is stock. And so just put the saddles on the bag, saddlebags on the arms, put the clear bits here on the shoulder, like over the shoulders, and there we have road peg complete. So let's get this compared to the original version of the mold, that being Crash Bar. Crash Bar look presentable. So here's Crash Bar. So pretty much the only new stuff is the head. That's really it, besides the painting. And I do wish they did a little bit more remolding. Maybe change out the shoulders instead of having it be the Junkion shoulders with the like spikes on it. Like, I know it's hidden with the black paint, but I can still feel it. It's weird. So yeah. So he does do all of these same gimmicks that Crash Bar does. You can, remove him limb from limb, take out the shuriken wheel back here, which just unpeg and then grab one of the blades, and then boop, and it spins too. Nice little fidget toy. So yeah, like you can plug it into the barrel of like one of the guns, have it be like a blender, or honestly, do what I kind of like to do, and I think I showed this off in the Junkion review, but I just tabbed in these back here to make like a jetpack of sorts, and put the like the wheel here on the arm. I don't know, it just helps differentiate them all, in my opinion, from their original versions. So, well, actually, I'll just leave that out. So let me just get this off the arm so I can show off this guy's articulation. So articulation, he has a ball joint at the head, full 360 side to side, all those fun doodads. Arms can do a full 360, can go out that far. Full bicep rotation. Elbows can go way over 90, and there is a wrist rotation. There is also a waist rotation. Legs can go back that far, can go forward that far. Knees can bend to 90 if you have the wheels down. There's a thigh swivel. And ankles on this side is pretty good. On this side, it's honestly pretty useless, but you do get a toe hinge. That's pretty nice. Same thing on this side. So yeah, honestly pretty good. If you're going for more G2 stuff, I say this guy's pretty good. I say this guy is honestly really good, and I've seen people do some creative stuff with the like weaponizers and such. So let's move on to the final figure of this review, and the final Starseeker, who's, I think in some continuities, the leader. Cannonball. So, him being the extensive remold, yada yada yada. It's honestly impressive that they've done multiple remolds of this mold. So let's get this out of the way. So start off with, fold the door wings up on either side, bring the legs down, fold in the wheels, fold in the leg panels, untab the thighs from the roof, bring them up, and then just untab the shoulders from here because they have a little groove they go in. Do that on either side, rotate these up, and that is a massive stress mark that I just noticed. Well, nothing is broken so far, so might have been because of like a misfired pin, maybe. That I've never seen that before until this review. That's weirding me out. But yeah, so just fold down the chest, then rotate the arms forward, and untie the legs, and there we have Cannonball. After fully tapping in the chest, Cannonball in his robot mode, and first glance, you couldn't probably tell that this was a remold of Skids until you started looking at the arms and the thighs, and also the, front leg panels, because this guy had most of the remolding budget go to him. Mostly for the use of, future molds down the line, considering this is going to be Cybertron Red Alert in the future. Hell, he even has the same gimmicks as him. As you can see in here, his two accessories, the hammer and the claw, both store in the, legs, like they did on the original toy. It's just a little bit different this time. So yeah, and also, he has the same shoulder cannons that you can store in this way, where they're hidden, and honestly, I kind of like keeping them this way, but you can plug in the Cyberplanet key in the back, and then, boop, just raise these up, and then boom, there you have the shoulder cannons, which are the most obvious, carryover from being the crankcase mold. But you can kind of do that gimmick just on a hinge instead of on a spring load. So, that's cool. So let me just get these back up, because I think this is how you're technically supposed to display this guy. So, let's bring in his mold brothers, I guess. So here is Crankcase, and here is the Skids mold. Let's bring these over a little bit aside. So it is, again, as I said in the beginning of this review, it is honestly impressive that they've gotten so many remolds out of just the Skids mold. It's surprising to me. So they got about 3 out of this one so far. They gotten 2 out of this, including, and so far we're predicting at least 1 out of this guy, or at least 2 versions of this mold. I mean, because there's Skids, there's this Burnout, there's Crosscut, and that's 3 total. There's 2 of these molds, and then there's probably going to be 2 of these in the future. So it's honestly impressive in my opinion. So yeah, so let's get these accessories out. Just like that. And they can plug over the gun arm here, which is also blast effect compatible. So you can give him the claw, which on the original toy could act as a claw, but due to this being one molded piece of plastic, they obviously couldn't do that. But I do believe this is 5mm compatible. So, yeah. So, you can have it hold things that are 5mm compatible. That's cool. So, just claw. And then you can put this back in there. And then you can plug on the hammer. Which is cool, I guess. You have... This reminds me more of a gavel than an actual hammer, weirdly enough. But yeah. So let's get this off and put it back in here. Do note, each one goes on a specific side, or at least that's what I've noticed so far, is that the hook goes on his, well, our left and our right, vice versa. So yeah. So for articulation, so his head has a ball joint, can do a full 360, look up that far, look down about that far. Shoulders have a hinge inside the chest, and also a tiny hinge at the shoulder, so you can get pretty good articulation like that. Also, they can rotate forward due to this being a carryover of the crankcase version. Arms can do biceps can do a full 360. Elbows are at 90. This can rotate, but that's going to be more evident here on the actual hand. So, he does have a full waist rotation. Technically a backwards ab crunch due to transformation. And, sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. Full waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far, can go back that far, can go out about that far. Full rotation here. Knees can go to 90, and ankles can go to 90 as well. So, honestly, I say this guy is arguably one of the best out of the wave, but then again, that is subjective. So yeah, so let's get everyone back in here for the final comparison. So yeah, here is all of them compared to next to each other. And honestly, I gotta say, this is a pretty good grouping of like what is essentially like the pirate party. Weird alliteration there, but okay. So yeah. So honestly, do I recommend this line? Honestly, I gotta say, yeah. Like, this has been the most, in my opinion, this has been a very creative use of remolds and repaints. But do I recommend getting this version of Thundertron or hunting down the newer version that came from the same line here? Honestly, I kind of say I do, but considering I have this version of Thundertron, I'm kind of happy not getting it at the moment, considering A, it's just this mold, new head, new hand, brighter color scheme, yes, and comes with a new deluxe deluxe remold, slightly, of one of the rock characters. I'm kind of happy with this, just this. So yeah, so this has been my review for the Walmart exclusive Starseekers. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know about your opinion in the comments below. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and, well, let me know, what do you think this is one of Walmart's more successful, like, sublines, or do you think there was one better that was previous, or do you think we're going to get one that's even better in the future? Because I don't remember all the leaked listings, so let me know in the comments, have all those fun doodads, and I'll see you next time. Peace.